We are now just 1 week away from the launch of Black Ops 6, and today we got our first look at everything coming alongside the multiplayer experience, as we have all the weapons, streaks, features, and more revealed today. So naturally, we're breaking down all that for you, so drop your thoughts as we go along. What do you think of the revealed content we got today? Like it, dislike it, whatever the case, let me know. If you enjoyed the video, you find it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. Of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with all things Black Ops 6. Broken record, we're chasing down 600,000 subscribers, and if you'd like to help us close that gap or by some miracle even hit that goal by launch, and perhaps a report of that 75% of viewers not subscribed, I would love to have you in the community. But for now, let's jump into it. Let's start out with what I'm sure is probably the lead off for a lot of people, the thing they care about the most. Weapons. We got detailed every single weapon coming in Black Ops 6. So those include the rifles of the XM4, AK-74, Ames 85, GPR 91, Model L, Goblin Mark II, and the AS Val. The SMGs, we have the C9, KSV, Tonto 22, PP 919, the Jackal PDW, and the Compact 92. The shotguns, we have two of these, the Marine SP and the ASG 89. LMGs, we have the PS 21, XMG, and the GPMG 7. Marksman rifles, we have the SWAT 556, Sarkov 762, the AEK 973, and DM 10. Sniper rifles, we have the LW3A1 Frostline, the SVD, and the LR 762, with the handguns of the 9mm PM, Grekov, GS45, and Strider 22, and then finally the launchers of the Sigma 2B and the HE1, while you have those dedicated melees of the knife and the baseball bat. So for a recap, that's 7 rifles, 6 SMGs, 2 shotguns, 3 LMGs, 4 marksman rifles, 3 sniper rifles, 4 pistols, 2 launchers, and 2 dedicated melee weapons, totaling only 33 weapons here for the entirety of the base launch version of the game. Now, for this type of coverage, I usually just say, hey, here's the information for your own educated decisions, but if I can be candid, I'm actually kind of surprised by this. Earlier in the year, we saw a list of just under 50 weapons leaked, and surely some of those would be like Season 1 weapons included in that so far out, but I won't lie, that shortened list here that we see at launch is quite the difference from what we saw a couple of months ago that leaked. I think if people are upset with this, there's actually a right to be, because the game's been in development for 4 years versus, say, Modern Warfare 3 that launched in like 16 or 18 months of dev time, and that had 37 weapons. So I'm not going to get too worked up about this just yet, because perhaps it's just the case of balanced weapons versus quantity, but admittedly, that is a sticker shock at first glance by comparison to recent games. I guess one positive spin is that it should make the mastery grind at least a little more obtainable for everyone, but that's of course subjective. Now, beyond that, either way, you're going to end up having to progress all of these through and work towards your camo grind with. Those camos are likely to be detailed at some point next week, earlier in the week, I would imagine, but you can rank these up in the manner seen on screen, showcasing the full level progression system, listing these out in order. But do bear in mind, with the return of the classic prestige system, these weapons are going to be relocked every single time you prestige. So pending that you use any permanent unlock tokens or have any blueprints earned or purchased, a weapon will be relocked upon starting a new prestige. So things like the AS Val, unlocked at that max level of a prestige at level 55, theoretically, you might not get to use it all that much because you might jump right into the next prestige after that, and it will relock. So do bear all that in mind once again. Attachments here, not going to go super in depth with all of this like the blog did. They talked a lot about specific attachments, but more so reiterating just how attachments worked. It's pretty self-explanatory if you've played any Call of Duty, but the nice part about Black Ops 6 in particular is that most weapon attachments will do positives rather than negatives within Black Ops 6 as opposed to recent years. Different classifications of weapons will primarily detail benefits to a blanket attribute, like a rear grip will always improve your handling properties like sprint to fire, speed, slide to fire, dive to fire, and such. Optics will always improve your properties pertaining to accuracy, and so on. Another note, as we mentioned before, optics are shared. The only attachments that are shared across this gunsmith system within Black Ops 6. So the only catch here at this is that it's going to be intra-classification, meaning that if you unlock a red dot for your rifles, it doesn't apply and automatically unlock for your SMGs, but you do have access to it across all of your rifles in play. The only other caveat with this is that it is tethered to specific weapons. So if you don't want to use, say, like the GPR 91, if the red dot is associated with the GPR 91's leveling track, you're going to have to end up unlocking it through that leveling track and then applying it to any other weapon that you want. But the nice part is it's a one and done, because a reminder, weapon progression persists through prestige. It doesn't restart your weapon progression after every single prestige and after re-unlocking the gun. So that's a nice thing to have. We also learned a little bit more about the detailed statistics returning here within Black Ops 6. This can be something that is toggled on or off, but it enables you to see these very specific values to all these attributes given across the firepower, accuracy, mobility, and handling stats that are showcased in the game itself. They also show a nice damage distribution where it gives an actual representation of where, if a shot lands, what that ends up doing to the player based off of the build that you end up having. Definitely a nice visualization, I think, of your build and what it will look like in real time. The firing range, as we mentioned, is something that is returning. We talked about this a couple of days ago here, or whatever it is. This entire time leading up to launch has kind of been a blur, but the firing range obviously giving you the options to end up shooting at those dummies that you've seen the last 2 years, but also a few more things introduced where you're going to have a dummy that will be able to be in motion, so you can track that in real time and try and have a moving target, and then also a recoil plate that will drop down from the ceiling that allows you to study those patterns of recoil, which is definitely a nice thing to have, I think. Global weapon builds were also detailed a little further. They clarified essentially what we've been saying and what we imagine this would be, where it's basically your custom saved blueprints, but something that is in real time, where if you swap from multiplayer to Warzone, those changes that you just made in one or the other will reflect on the other as well. So just real-time translation from a blueprint instead of having to resave another custom blueprint. Beyond that, they also detailed all of the perks coming here with this. For the perks in Black Ops 6, you of course still have those 3 categories of Enforcer, Recon, and Strategist. Coming back to the specialties, which we'll touch on in just a second, but the Enforcer perks include Dexterity, Gung-Ho, Scavenger, Assassin, Bruiser, Bankroll, and Double Time. Recon includes Ghost, Ninja, Engineer, Forward Intel, Tracker, Cold-Blooded, and Vigilance, while Strategist includes Flak Jacket, Tac Mask, Dispatcher, Fast Hands, Gearhead, Guardian, and Quartermaster. Now, if you have 3 of those perks, all the same sort of categories, so you have either the Enforcer, Recon, or Strategist perks. If you have all 3 of one category chosen, it will give you that combat specialty, where the Enforcer ends up granting players a temporary buff to movement speed and health regeneration when killing an enemy. Recon, enemies will be able to be seen through walls for a short period of time. You'll also get a HUD edge indicator, that being high alert, that flashes when an enemy is outside your view, and it will also leave no death skulls when killing an enemy. And finally, Strategist will allow you to earn score bonuses for objectives and destroying enemy equipment, see equipment through walls, and be able to deploy equipment and field upgrades faster. So based off of this, it doesn't appear that much has changed from the beta, if anything at all, in regards to what we are already familiar with. It doesn't seem like there were any adjustments made to any of those specialties, buffing one or the other. So it's what we've had, and it seems like that is going to be staying the case. Wildcards, we end up having 6. We only saw 3 of those in the beta, but you have the wildcards of the Tactical Expert, which will allow you to spawn with 2 extra tacticals. Overkill will allow you to have any non-melee weapon, primary or secondary. Gunfighter, which of course gives you those 3 extra attachment points for primary weapons. Danger Close allows you to spawn with an extra lethal. Prepper is an interesting one. It'll allow you to spawn with 2 different field upgrades that you can choose from. We have seen that historically before, but it might not be something that you are super familiar with as of recently. And then you have Perk Greed, which allows you to take that 4th extra perk. Lethals, you have the Frag, Sticky Grenade, C4, Thermo Grenade, Impact Grenade, Molotov, Blast Trap, Drill Charge, and Combat Axe. Drill Charge is definitely nice that it is returning, since the other stuff doesn't carry forward. I honestly thought the Drill Charge was probably one of those lethal equipments that was one of the best introductions we've seen in a little while. Something that kind of surprised we didn't see something like that before Modern Warfare 2 in 2022. But anyways, Tacticals, Concussion, Flashbang, Spy Cam, Smoke, Prox Alarm, Stim Shot, Decoy, and Shock Charge. Your field upgrades, you end up having Assault Pack, Scrambler, which will act as like a sort of mobile radar scrambler, Signal Lure, which will allow you to end up broadcasting your location, but then also grant you more score if you end up getting kills during that span. The Morphine Injector, which is basically Last Stand, which is interesting. You can either be revived by your teammates, or if you get a kill while downed, it will then automatically revive you. Warcry will rally your team around you, kind of like the Squad Rage that you have in Warzone right now, where it gives a bit of a health regen speed bonus as well as movement speed bonus for players that are in the vicinity of when you activate that. The Spring Mine, basically your Bouncing Betty, Tac Insert, Trophy System, neurogas, which is a sort of gas toxin that does damage, acoustic amp, and sleeper agent. So a lot of stuff here on deck to choose from in regards to creating your class itself. And the final thing that was revealed today were the score streaks here. Every single one of those, all 18 of them. For this, we have the Scout Pulse at 400, which will of course give you that radar ping on a personal level, the RCXD at 450, the SAM turret at 550, the UAV at 600, the Archangel launcher at 650, which is kind of like your Valkyrie rockets from back in the day, the counter UAV for 700, the care package for 750, the napalm strike for 900, the LDBR for 950, which is a bombardment of missiles at a target location, kind of like a cluster strike it seems like, your sentry turret for 1000, Hellstorm for 1050, the Watchdog Helo for 1100, the AGR Mark 1 for 1200, the interceptors for 1250, which is like your air assault here from Black Ops Cold War that would destroy everything of aerial kill streaks. Definitely nice that it's not as easy to obtain and there isn't something built into the score streak system that you're just guaranteed to get that at one point during the match. So I'm okay with that returning in that regard. The strategic bomber at 1300 score, which is a stealth bomber, the Harp, which is 1450, which is your advanced UAV, the chopper gunner at 1600, and then the dreadnought at 1800, which is a modified gunship with cannons, rockets, and the daisy cutter bomb. So a lot of stuff here that we ended up seeing revealed to us, which basically filled out the multiplayer experience for Black Ops 6. You take what we have here in this and then also apply it to what we learned with the game modes, the maps, and everything that we've seen thus far, and we basically have the entire multiplayer experience and what we can interact with already laid out for us. Obviously, we're missing things like progression and things to work towards, which again will probably be detailed like Monday or Tuesday, I'm imagining, as of next week, but for right now, that's the multiplayer experience in a nutshell and what was revealed today. So let me know your thoughts down below. What do you guys think here of these weapons, streaks, field upgrades, whatever the case, let me know. If you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. Of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing running all things Black Ops 6 as we gear up for Black Ops 6's launch and beyond. There is so much up on deck that you guys will not want to miss, and I'm very excited to bring you guys, so I'd love to have you in the community. For now, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.